And now I'm going to talk about all the bad things about the 2009 CW reboot of Melrose Place, which aired 18 episodes from 2009 to 2010. Now, I was a big fan of the original show. I recorded first run from 8th grade up until junior year of high school when it ended. Seasons 4 through 7. Before that, I was really into the show since I was at the end of 5th grade when it was finishing up its first season in 1993. And I always said to myself, I'd love to move to LA someday. I'd love to work on the reunion movie if they have one. But then when I moved to LA in 2005, reboots started happening. They started making reboots, and 90210 had a reboot. And it was very shoddy. It wasn't good to me. I didn't like it. And then said they were gonna reboot Melrose Place. And I'm saying to myself, oh, please, they're gonna mess it up. They're gonna get people who don't even know the show because they weren't getting original writers, original producers. So I sent my resume in. I called and called and called. I looked at IMDb and I found the production company. They didn't know how I got their information. I said, I looked it up online. I'm a PA in Los Angeles. So, given what I had already worked on, I was a CBS page. I worked at The Price is Right. I should have at least had some pull to at least get my resume looked at. But I'm pretty sure that they said, oh yeah, you're calling too soon. Send it later. And when I sent it a couple of months later, and when I called back, they already had their crew. And they said, send it anyways. Pretty sure they threw it in the trash. But in a way, I'm glad they didn't hire me as a PA because they lost out on my expertise. None of the PAs they hired even knew the original, I'm sure. They hired this one guy with blue hair, which I've seen behind-the-scenes photos, behind-the-scenes videos. They hired some other PA that kept falling asleep based on a video that was posted by like Michael Rady or something, who played Jonah. And they were all making a joke about it. They were all laughing. That PA should have gotten fired, but they were making jokes about it. If I was there as a PA and I fell asleep, I would have been fired. That's how Hollywood was to me. But they were all making a joke of it. And what I was seeing, fellow extras were saying that they had worked the show and it was a flop. The actors sucked. They didn't know their lines. Ashley Simpson didn't know her lines. And then, to make matters worse, I was working on the Zane Sex Chronicles one day, and I told one of the fellow extras, I would love to work on the new Melrose Place. I mean, it sucks, but that's the show that made me want to move out to LA. And then she told me, I was Laura Layton's stand-in for the body bag scene where they fake Sydney's death in episode 3, Grand. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. What happened? What was it like on set? Oh, they were scrambling. They were watching tapes of the season finale of season 5 when Sydney got run over. Because they didn't know the show. And they didn't watch what happened before that. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know how they were going to fake her death. Samantha's father, Jim Riley, accidentally ran her over. He was trying to escape the police. So they had Michael Mancini fake her death. Michael was up and about with his hands bandaged very lightly, as if it was weeks and weeks later, because he was in the hospital the night of her wedding. Peter Burns had thrown him through a glass window wall at Burns Mancini, their medical practice, because Peter found out that Taylor and Michael had drugged him to cause his rage epilepsy. So, and Megan was watching him at the hospital when he was in his hospital bed because he was ready to get surgery on his hands. The producers of this new Melrose Place had him up and about, working. Like it was weeks later, when he had light bandages, and he was up and about. And Sydney said, somebody from my past wanted to kill my husband. They said they'd kill my husband. So I guess Samantha's father said that? Bull crap. So if I was there as a PA, I could have fill them in. Carter Gallivan had left L.A. He was going out with Sydney a few episodes prior. He was rich. They were going to go away to Mexico together. But she liked Kyle, and he found out, and he left her. And then that was one situation. They could have said Carter faked her death. He stayed in L.A. He saw her get married. He saw the car hit her, and he paid the doctor off. Because Sydney came back and she bought Melrose Place. Well, their explanation was Amanda and her went into business together selling art. Why would that be? Amanda hated Sydney. She would have never gone into business with her. Sydney and Craig caused her to lose D&D in the season 5 finale, which they were watching on set as they were scrambling with these ideas. How were they going to fake Sydney's death? So that's something I hated about the new Melrose Place. They ruined the character of Sydney's return, how she faked her death, how Michael was involved in it, and then they tagged the character of David onto Michael, saying he was his son, because that was supposed to be Jake's son, David, that was going to come back and live in the apartment building. But Grant Cho couldn't be there. So they said, oh, Michael had a son named David before he married Jane. How stupid was that? Then we don't find out where Lexi is. She was the building owner before. What happened to her? Were there a couple of owners before her, after her? Jane comes back. Where's Kyle? Where's the unborn child she would have had with Michael? Did it die? Where is it? Joe came back. Is she still with Dr. O'Malley? Did they break up? Did they get married? What about Austin? She never mentioned she gave Austin up for adoption. What would have been great is Austin could have found out before he turned 18 that Joe was his mother, and he would have gone to Melrose Place to look for her, and they could have reunited there in the reboot. But that didn't even happen. That was a missed opportunity. Amanda comes back from faking her death. She said she was bored with the island and Peter. But we don't find out how she got away with it. Where's Peter now? Is he in jail? Is he still on the island? We don't know. Does she have any kids on the island still there? We don't know. So it's just like, it was bad. It was bad altogether. And I would have made a great PA there. A great PA. But they wanted to hire blue-haired PAs and people who fell asleep on set. And they didn't know anything about the original. So, hey, it's over. And I hope if they do make this new reboot, it's like a limited run. And they get things right this time. And they wrap it up after a season. After like even 10, 15, 20 episodes. So we have cliffhangers, big cliffhangers, that lead up to some resolution. Instead of, oh, we don't know if we're going to get renewed or not. Because shows these days don't last long. They go one season and they're done. 2 seasons, they're done. 3, maybe they're done. We don't know. And all these shows keep getting canceled on like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and these fans get upset. So if Melrose Place comes back, they should really be a limited run of 10, 13, 20 episodes, and then just one and done. And I'd be glad to help out in any way to assist. I know everything about the original.